All right. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our virtual field trip to a pig farm. My name's Mandy Masters, and I work with Wisconsin Pork Association. And I just want to say I'm really looking forward to all the exciting things that we have to share with you today, and being able to bring a farm right to your classrooms. So we are able to bring the experience to you thanks to support from Compeer Financial, as well as our Wisconsin pig farmers through the pork checkoff. And before we do introductions to meet our farmer, I do just want to remind teachers we've got the chat box on the side that you can use to send us questions throughout our field trip. And then we do have some time set aside at the end where kids will be able to come up and ask questions on the camera. We do have a pretty large group here today, though, so we might not have time for a ton of questions from each classroom, so definitely try to channel some of those through the chat box throughout the field trip so we can try to get as many questions answered as possible. We'll do a quick roll call, I think, right now to see who all is part of our field trip today. I think most of you do have a camera, so feel free to wave at us, say hello when I call in your classroom so that we can all see where you're at.
I'll tell you when to zoom to me.
So starting out, I'm going to introduce, we've got a group from Partyville. And I think there's a couple of classes together there. Hi. We have a group from Northland Pine Elementary, which is in Eagle River. Hi, everyone. I have a group from Highland. Hi.
Hi.
We also have a group from Mineral Point. And let's see who else I've got. I've got a group from Lincoln Elementary in Wausau. Hi there. We have a group from, let's see, I've got Gibraltar Elementary in Fish Creek. I've got a group in Lamira. And then let's see here. Let me scroll through. We've got a group from Wood School in Lake Geneva. You can see them. Hi, everyone. And then we have a group from Eau Claire. They don't have a video that we can see them, but they can see and hear us. So hi to everyone in Eau Claire as well. And then we also have, you'll see Dan and Emily kind of in the background here helping us with all the connections and taking care of the behind the scenes things for us a little bit. So they've been a big help to getting this set up for us. And then of course we have Melissa, who is our pig farmer. Right now we're seeing just the pigs. Hopefully we'll get a picture of her here soon too, so we can see her face as well.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Melissa. So Melissa, as you can see, is already inside of the barn right now. And I think she's got some slides in a little bit that she'll show you what the outside of the barn looks like and talk about why she's already inside and we can't necessarily go through the process of getting in the barn with her and seeing all of that. But at this point, I think I'll just turn it over to her so that she can tell us a little bit more about herself and her farm and what they do every day on their farm.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining in to Wolf Farms this morning. I just want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up on a hog and beef farm in Iowa, and I met my husband Shannon in college and moved here to Wisconsin. And we have three sons: Mitchell, who's 13, Nolan, who's 11, and Ross is soon to be 7. And I worked off the farm for about 10 years and then had the opportunity to come and work full time for our farm here, which was bought back in 1958 by my husband's grandfather. And we are now the third generation to kind of take the farm over and um, continue on with it, I guess. Um, our farm consists of uh, hogs and beef. We have about 1,200 acres, which is corn and soybeans, which are the things that we feed to our pigs. And we have about 7 employees full-time that help us out with all the things we have going on around the farm. And so this isn't my normal barn that I work in. There are 4 other hired men that take care of all the pigs that we have in the barn here. But as you can see here, the pigs that we were showing on the screen earlier were just born over the night. Really early this morning. And so you can see you can see their little umbilical cords there. So they are very new, fresh, born little baby pigs here that are trying to dry off and get themselves some of their mother's milk and get themselves going. But you can see how little they are here. So they're born at approximately 2 to 3 pounds. And I also have one of our hired men that just popped in the door here to show you. They're with their mom for about 21 days, and then they're weaned from their mom and taken to another barn. But in those 21 days, they grow from about 2 pounds up to 15 pounds. So here you can see how big or how fast they grow in those 15 days. So this pig here is going to be weaned on Thursday from his mom. So he's about that 15-pound range. So they do grow pretty quick.
Yeah, so just in a matter of, 3 weeks, 21 days, they go from only 2 or 3 pounds all the way up to as big as that one we just saw that was about 15 pounds. So they definitely grow really fast.
They sure do. So I think, are we on to that second slide, Mandy?
Can we see what the outside of the barn looks like? So we'll pull up, there's a photo here that shows, you'll see a green barn, and Melissa can talk about that a little bit.
You bet. So I guess the reason we have to do a virtual tour and not invite all of you into our barns here is for biosecurity reasons. And that's kind of a big word for some of you, but that means that we want to keep all the germs and things outside of our barns so that our pigs can stay healthy, because they do pick up germs and things like humans do. And so in the barn you see there on the screen, that big green one is the barn that I'm inside of today. And so that's where all of our sows. How many of you know what a sow is? Can you raise your hand? So some of you know what a sow is. So that's the mom. And so all of the moms and babies live in those green barns, and that's where I am today. And in order to come in here, I had to take a shower right inside the front door, or shower. So we had to shower in to come in today so that I can wash all those germs away and come inside with these new baby pigs here. And so you can see I was also in a t-shirt, and so it's very warm in the barn here. It's 70 degrees. So it's not 20 degrees like it is outside. And so it's really nice and warm so that our pigs are warm in here and, can stay healthy. And let's see, our pigs, something else you might notice on the screen there is our pigs are born in, or the sows are in crates. And so that keeps her separate from all the other moms in the room here. We can scan out and you can see there's lots of other moms in here that have babies too. And so it keeps her separate so she gets the individualized care that she needs to raise the pigs that she has on her.
Can you talk to Melissa of how does that setup of how you keep your pigs help keep maybe the baby pigs a little bit safer too?
So you can see the size difference of the sow there, or the mom. So she can weigh 400, 500, 600 pounds. And when you have babies in there that are 2 or 3 pounds, you definitely don't want them to get laid on or stepped on by her. And she has her own, we can zoom out and show, there's a feeder here where her feed, you see that? Her feed comes in, and then up here in the front is her water. So she can push this and water will come out. So she's got food and water at all times.
Can you show us the feed a little bit more, Melissa? I don't know if you can reach in there and maybe show what it looks like a little bit.
You bet.
And tell us what is that? What's in there?
So are you on the feed? Yeah. Okay. So the feed here, sorry, it's just really fine corn and beans and some other vitamins and minerals ground up. Here you can see it's kind of like a powder that we have to grind it up so fine, because otherwise corn to pigs is like a sweet, so they'll sort through it. So we grind it together so that she eats all of it. And a sow that has these baby pigs on her, she can eat up to 25 pounds a day of feed. And so depending on the size of some of you, that's 25 pounds is quite a bit, but she needs a lot of nutrition to feed the babies that she has on her.
So
and this is what feed looks like.
Awesome. What about the baby pigs? Will they just eat their mom's milk, or do they eventually eat solid food too?
They, for the most part, they do drink their mom's milk, but after a couple weeks before they're weaned, they're going to get something. It's called pellets. So I can show you what that looks like in a bucket here. So these are just little pieces, similar corn, soybeans, but it's pressed together in a pellet form for baby piglets to eat. And so it's introduced to them here in the sow unit where they're born, but at weaning, then for the first 4 or 5 days in a nursery where they're moved to after they're weaned from their mom, that's what they're going to eat. So it's the same food. It's not something different to them.
Melissa, I heard you mention a nursery. Can we maybe pull up a picture of what that barn looks like? Because the little baby pigs there, they only stay in this pen for about 3 weeks, and then can we see where they go after that?
Yeah, but I think it's one slide back there. It's the one with the boys.
So it should be slide number 4. I skipped ahead a little bit. There you go. So we're seeing the one with you and the boys. Yep.
Okay, so the nursery, the pictures that you're seeing here is myself and 2 of my boys in the nursery taking care of the little pigs. So that is the job that I do every day, is I take care of the pigs, the nursery pigs that are weaned from their moms. So you can see one of the little boys there is just checking the water to make sure that the pigs have water, and the feed, and to make sure that their heaters and fans and things in their rooms are all working properly. And those are the things that I do every morning and afternoon, because like kids, they need, their breakfast in the morning and they need their lunch, supper in the afternoon. So that's what I do for pig chores every day.
In this picture, Melissa, I can kind of see there's some holes in the floor. Can you talk about what those are for and why the floor has those little slats in it?
Sure. So all of our barns have slatted floors, so when our animals go to the bathroom, all the pee and poo goes through the floor underneath the barn, so it keeps our pigs clean and so that they're not, making a mess. And then we take that, we call it fertilizer, and put that onto our crop ground, and it helps our crops grow.
Okay. I think I'll jump back. Can we scroll one picture up before? So not only do the baby pigs move on and go live in a different barn after they're old enough, the mother pigs too kind of live somewhere else while they're getting ready to have their babies. Is that right, Melissa?
Yes. So the mom and the babies are in these rooms for those 21 days, just a little over, those 3 weeks. They come in, of course, a few days before they're going to have pigs. But the rest of that green barn that you saw is pens like you're seeing on the screen there that have the sows in them that are already pregnant with babies in their belly. And they, in the one picture, it shows an electronic feeder. And so that's where they're going to walk through and get their feed. And they have tags in their ears, like a identification tag, and we can monitor our animals' health by that and how much food that they're eating. So if somebody isn't feeling well, like when we're sick, we don't really feel like eating, and so we can run reports that show that somebody hasn't gone through the feeder and ate today, and we can go find her and check on her to make sure that she's feeling okay. But those are the groups that they're gonna have their babies together. They kind of stay in those groups, kind of like a classroom does. They get to go through all their activities together as one group. And those are that's a different part of the barn here, right at that green barn location. So you can see in the other picture, most of our pigs are white, not all of them. Like the bigger baby pig that Dan brought in, that was a black one. But most of our pigs are white. And so then in that other picture, you can see that they're just hanging around, laying around, relaxing in a group there.
Okay. I think we can go back now, and we'll go back into the live video of you and the pigs there, Melissa. I'll maybe ask a question to the classrooms as we're watching this one here. Can you guys hold up and show on your fingers how many baby pigs do you think are right there with that mom? Is there 3? Is there 7? How many do you think? Maybe 10? Some people have 10 up. Melissa, can you count them for us and let us know how many are there? If you can keep track of them all.
You bet. There's 10 right there, but actually, I'm going to show you something else. She has 11.
Okay. So there was somebody hiding.
He was. He's over here. I think he was the last one born. You can see he's a little bit wet. He's got a reddish tint to him. And so he's trying to warm up under the heat lamp. And if you guys can see that, okay, it's called a heat lamp. So under there is a great big light bulb that gives off a lot of heat to warm up the pigs. So there are 11.
Oh, so trick question. We didn't have enough fingers for that, and he was hiding over there on us.
Yep.
Is 11 the average number of pigs that a mom will have?
I would say that's about perfect. Our average is between 10 and 12, so she's right there, right in the middle. So that's perfect.
Awesome. So she's doing good. Let's see. Is there anything else here, Melissa, you want to show us right now?
So I'm just moving the camera around a little bit.
So how old are those pigs right there?
These guys were born the 8th, so that would have been Friday. So they're a little bit more active.
All right. Can you talk, Melissa, we have a question. So you talked about where all of the mother pigs live and how they're over in the other part of that barn. Do you keep any of the boy pigs on your farm, or where are they?
We do have 3, I believe, right now, 3 boars or boys that are around here. But all of our sows are, they're kept separate from the boys. How about I put it that way?
Okay, so on this farm, they really focus on taking care in this barn of the mothers, so the mom girl pigs and their babies, and the boy pigs are kept in a separate area that specializes in taking care of them and their needs.
Correct.
Okay, let's show them. So how many, let's go and show a picture and see where, what a finishing barn, or where the pigs go after they're out of this barn, they've grown up and they've gotten out of the nursery. They go to yet another barn, right?
Correct. So after they're done at the nursery where I take care of them, this is a finisher barn, the white one there in the top corner. And they are going to weigh about 45 pounds. So I get them at 15, and they're in the nursery for about 5 weeks. And then they're going to go to this finisher, and they're going to go there from pounds 45 until about 280 when they're ready for market.
Okay. And how about, can we do a show of hands? How long does it take for a pig to get from being a baby all the way up to the 280 pounds of market weight? How many months? Is it 3 months or 4 months? Maybe is it 7 months? I see some 6s. There's quite a few 6s there.
I'm trying to look to.
Melissa, why don't you tell us if there's anybody that's correct?
They're in the finisher barn for about 4 months, approximately.
Okay.
So from a newborn to market is about 6 months is average per se.
All right. And that's because they grow so fast, right? Because it only takes them 6 months to get that big?
Correct.
All right. And then while we're at it, do you want to talk about a few of the other things you might do on the farm? I know we had one question asking if you drive any of the tractors and the combines, or are you always inside the barn taking care of the pigs?
No, I wear a lot of different hats at the farm. In the mornings, yes, I do chores. In the afternoons, I do chores. And in between there, I take care of all the office work. So the bills and the checks and the record keeping and all of those fun things. And I also, yes, I do drive a combine, and I drive tractor occasionally. So the picture there you're seeing now is a picture of our combine, our tractor and grain cart, and the sprayer there, I believe. So that is our home office, where we work on equipment, and my office is in the front door there. And behind there, you can see all the grain bins. So we do have about 1,200 acres of corn, maybe 300 of soybeans, something like that. And so all of our grain is stored in the bins there behind the white buildings there. And the middle smaller white building is our feed. We grind and mix all of our own feed here to feed our cows and pigs. And so that's what that building is there.
Okay. Well, let's go back to Melissa and the pigs here. We did have a question, I'm not sure if we answered it earlier or not, of how many pigs do you have on your farm?
We have about 7 different smaller farms per se. And so today, on any given day, we have about 13,000 pigs around here. New babies all the way up to sows and market hogs.
Okay. And earlier, Melissa, we were talking about the number of baby piglets that each mom has. What's the highest number of piglets you've ever seen a mama pig have?
Oh, 16, 18, I can't remember. It's, I don't work in here every day. And so sometimes there is a sow that has a good big litter, and, sometimes she's not able to take care of them. So we'll um, foster some of her babies off to another mom so that everybody gets taken care of and gets the milk and things that they need to grow.
Okay. Anything else you can think of right now, Melissa, you want to share? Otherwise, if there's a big group of kids that we've got on today, I might just try to jump to questions a little bit earlier so we can get through a few more of those.
I can't think of anything, Mandy, off the top of my head, so that's great. I can answer some questions.
Okay, so what we're going to do for the classrooms, if you can each kind of select 1 or 2 students that have a question, and have them come up towards the camera. I think I'll probably just try to call on each classroom once and go through them all one time to begin with. And then if we have time, we'll go back around and take some additional questions. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes here to get organized. I might ask another question here of my own to begin with. So one of those, and hopefully I don't steal anyone's question, but is, do you ever name any of your pigs? Or how do you keep track of them?
I don't name any of the pigs. My kids every once in a while will come in and help do chores, and they'll name some of them, but it's nothing that ever sticks per se. But our pigs, I guess, are kept in a group, and the sows have ear tags, so we know exactly who they are. But otherwise, the baby pigs are just kept in a group, and that's how we know who they are, is I guess by their age. So they're all grouped by age. Every Thursday we get a new weaning group in, and so then they stay together through market weight. So
okay. Well, it looks like I see someone waiting in Highland. That's the first one that shows up for me. So if we can get them unmuted. Okay, go ahead with your question.
How much food do all the pigs eat in a day?
how much food do they eat in a day?
All of them.
Oh, all of them? Oh my goodness. I can't tell you specifically. A little baby pig is gonna eat, a pound or 2 pounds a day, and like I said, a sow is gonna have 25 to 30 pounds a day. And so our feed guy that mixes all of our feed, I know he'll on some days grind like 50 ton of feed to put in the bins we have. So that'd be a really big day for him. But that's about as close as I can get to. He puts them in the bins, and then it's just always there for us to feed our pigs. How about that? Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
All right, thank you. I also see someone standing in Mineral Point. So once we get them unmuted. All right, go ahead with your question in Mineral Point.
How much mama sows do you have altogether?
We have about 1,200 mama sows.
That's how many acres.
There's a lot of them. Okay, I also see someone next. It looks like in Lamira.
What products come from pigs?
Great
I didn't
question.
catch that.
So what products come from pigs? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about, do you like bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah, bacon comes from pigs. Do you like sausage?
Yeah.
Like breakfast sausage links, like or pizza? Yeah, sausage pizza. That comes from pigs. No? Ham? Do you like ham?
Yeah.
That comes from pigs. Yep. Those are the three, I guess, favorites that I would have that come from pigs.
Yeah, so anything pork, if you hear the word pork, that comes from a pig. That's the food or the meat that comes from a pig. And little fact here too, so beyond just the pork and the meat that the pigs give us, there's also things called byproducts. So that's something that's not usable as a meat to be consumed or eaten by us, but other things that they make out of the parts of a pig. So you might even be able to look around your classrooms and maybe you have some crayons or some paint brushes, things like that. All of those can come from a pig too, that they use all different parts so that nothing goes to waste in that pig. So there's all kinds of different things. Let's see, I see, we'll go on to another question here. I've got a couple going in the chat. Can you talk about how often pigs are born? So how many litters might a mama pig have in a year?
So she will have like 2.5 litters in a year. And we keep sows for about 3 years.
Okay. And how long is each mama pig pregnant for?
This is an easy one. It's 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days.
That is easy to remember. Okay, let's go back. I see someone waiting in Partyville. We can get them up. All right, go ahead with your question.
What is the what method do you have for moving your pigs?
What?
So is that what method do you use to move the pigs? Okay. Did you catch that, Melissa? How do you move pigs, say, from one room to the next or from one barn to the next?
So there are little hallways in the barn here. Here, I'll take it. You can see. So we can move the pigs up and down the little walkways here. And it's be the same thing in all of the barns. There are little walkways. And we have boards, to help move them along a little bit so that somebody doesn't turn around and come back. And then we do have our own semi. So on moving pig day, which is typically Thursdays, we back the semi up to a barn and walk them on and take them to their new barn and unload them. And that's how we do it here at our farm.
Okay. I see another question it's Gibraltar in Fish Creek there. If we can get them up on the screen. Pick one of you. I can take one question to begin with here.
2 questions.
Do you ever let your pigs free roam on the farm?
We do not. They all stay inside in the barn.
And why do they stay inside, Melissa?
We keep them in barns so that they're warm. Like on days like today, they're not out in the winter cold or in the, in the summer when it's really hot. It's all the same temperature all year round in here, or it keeps them safe from, you can't have little babies wandering around outside, to make sure that they get fed and that they can find their mom. And so it also keeps them away from other animals too. So we do keep all of our pigs inside.
Okay. And we'll try to circle back to you guys again to get your second question. I just want to give everyone an opportunity here to at least get one question in. So Let's see, I still have on my list, is there anyone in Lincoln Elementary that has a question?
Do they eat anything else besides soybeans and corn?
There are other vitamins and minerals that are mixed in their feed, but a majority of it is corn and soybeans, and then their water, but otherwise, nope.
Okay, and then I have a question. Is there one, did I miss the Woods School? Yeah, how about you guys? Do you have a question there? We can get them up and unmuted here. Woods School, go ahead.
How old is your pig farm?
Our pig farm started back in 1958 by my husband's grandpa. So that's a good math question. 2017 minus 1958 equals what? 60, 70 some years, right?
Oh, okay.
It's been around a while.
So how many generations is that?
We are the third generation to operate the farm here.
Okay. I think I have one more question. I haven't gotten to Northland Pines yet. All right, go ahead.
My name's Michaela. Ask your question.
Can you say your question?
Why is there like zero mud in the barn?
So Melissa, can you say, I think the question is, why isn't there any mud in the barn?
Well, we have slatted floors, so at anything, any water or any pee or poo from the pigs, it falls right down underneath them. So if you can see those black, they're standing on like a slatted floor. It has holes in it there. So anything from them or their feed or their water or anything, it goes right into a pit underneath them. So it keeps them clean.
Okay. And so another fun fact here, so pigs can't sweat. So sometimes we used to think of seeing pigs rolling in a mud puddle to keep cool because the mud was cooler. But Melissa, can you tell us, how do you keep the pigs cool today inside the barn so that they don't have to be dirty and in the mud?
We have, I'm gonna zoom out here a little bit. So at the end of the barn here, if you guys can all see that, there are 5 different fans. The bright light down there is actually a door, but there are 5 fans at the end of the room here. So on a really hot day, all of those fans are blowing or pulling the air out. So it causes a breeze for the pigs so that they don't overheat. You can see the one fan actually is running just a little bit there to pull in some fresh air for the animals. And it's all, we have control boxes in each barn or in each room, how about I put it that way, that lets us control the temperature of each room. So as the pigs get a little bit older, it doesn't need to be as warm in here for them. And so,
Okay.
the heaters right here, it doesn't have to run as much either. So if everybody can see that big box there, it's a big old heater that keeps it nice and warm in here for the animals.
Awesome. So if we have time, I'll circle back through and try to get one more question from those classrooms that have someone. So first up, I know I need to get back to Gibraltar there in Fish Creek. So I think you guys had a second question.
How old can pigs typically live to be? How old can pigs typically live?
How old can they live to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The mama sows, we keep for about 3 years. But otherwise, if they're a market hog, it's going to be about 6 months for them to be newborns up to that 280 pounds when they're ready to go to market.
Okay. Melissa, on that sow right there, can we see her ear tag, or is it on the other side? Like,
I'm trying not to move too fast here. You can kind of see it's right there.
So that little spot you see, it's kind of white and black. That's her ear tag that Melissa talked about. And Melissa, maybe can you recap? What can you do with that tag? What does that tell you?
So every sow here has an ear tag, which it tells us who she is, how many pigs she's had, how old she is, how she ate today. If she's not feeling well, she won't eat as much, and so we'll be able to tell that from her ear tag. And we can tell that by there's a scanner in our electronic feeding system.
Okay, so it's a way to keep track of her and provide the exact care that she needs. So let's see, going back to questions here, if we've got time. I've got someone standing there in Woods School. If we can get them unmuted. There you go.
Why did your grandparents choose to do a hog farm?
Why did they choose to do a hog farm? Oh goodness, do you know, I'm not sure. They had a very diverse farm, and I'm speaking from both sets of our grandparents. I grew up on a hog and beef farm, and my husband did, and my brother is the one running my farm back in Iowa, is where I grew up. And growing up, they had hogs and beef and chickens, and that was, I think, back then that was just the normal. That's how you provided for your family. Does that answer your question?
I think we'll go, I don't see any more from them, but I think we'll move on. I see someone waiting in Lamira.
Why can some pigs be pets and some can't? Because we have someone in our class who has pets.
So Melissa, I think that question is, why are your pigs not kept as a pet? Because some people might have a pet pig, but how are your pigs different?
Well, we have too many pigs to choose one to keep them as a pet, and they grow awfully fast. So that's a parental choice. If people want to have a pet pig, that's fine. Kind of like we have a dog, but she's outside. I don't have an inside dog. I guess that's why we don't. They're better off inside a barn here where they're kept safe and they don't make a mess in my house or anything that way.
So these are a little bit different type of pig than you might see as like a potbelly pet pig. That this is a different breed that Melissa has here, that just grow too fast and too big to keep inside as a pet. I've got another question. I'm trying to move through these just so we don't keep anybody too long. I want to get one question from each of the other classrooms, and then we'll try to wrap things up. I've got someone waiting in Mineral Point.
How do the sows have to stay in the crate until their pigs are old enough to leave?
I didn't catch all of that. Can you repeat it, Mandy?
Do the mom pigs have to stay in the crate until the baby pigs are old enough to leave?
Yes, she will stay in the crates that she's in right now for that 3 weeks, the 21 days, or just a little bit older or over that. We'll bring her in a couple days before they're ready to start having pigs. So if you guys can see on the screen, there are 56 sows in this room right here. So they're all going to have pigs all within about 3 days of each other. And so that's where she comes in here for that, just a little over 3 weeks. And then she goes back into those big pens like what we had showed you on that slideshow earlier.
Good question. I've got another one. Someone's waiting in Lincoln Elementary. We can get you up and on the screen.
Where do you get your mama pigs?
That's a good question. So each week when we wean pigs, we save back 25 of them and keep them right here in the sow barn. And then they grow up to be mommies. So each week we keep back 25 and then they replace the other mommies that are being sold.
Good question. There's another one I see. We haven't gotten to Northland Pines yet for the second time. So if you want to get them up on the screen, we can get that question answered.
What do the albino pigs look like? Since we said normal pigs look like white, what do albino pigs look like?
That's a good question, buddy. I have no idea. I can't say that I've ever seen an albino pig. How about you, Mandy?
I haven't. So, and when Melissa talks about, her pigs are mostly white. So that's a breed of pig that is just known to be that color. The one that was brought in earlier, I think, had some spotted color to it. So that's maybe a mixture of breeds, that maybe there was a darker colored pig and a lighter colored pig that resulted in that mixed colored pig there. Okay, next question. Is there another one? I haven't circled back to Highland yet. Is there a question there a second time? Anybody?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
How much bacon can you get from one pig?
Ooh, that's a good one. Mandy, do you know that right off the top of your head?
I want to say it's like 19 to or 20-ish pounds is all you get of bacon from one pig, because bacon only comes from the side or kind of stomach belly area of the pig. So that's really the only part of the pig we can use to make the bacon that most of us know about. That long strips of bacon comes from the side. So I think it's only about 20 or so pounds that comes from each 280-pound pig is bacon, and the rest is other cuts of pork. That was a good question, though. One more question here from Partyville. We got to circle back to them. We can get Partyville up. Go ahead.
How much money does it cost to feed all the pigs?
Ooh, how much money does it cost? Oh, man. That's a really good question. Gosh, Mandy, do you have I don't even have a ballpark figure of what it is for one animal.
And I'm not sure either. And a lot of that is going to depend. I mean, the price of your feed will change. So it can change depending on how much feed you have available, and whether maybe sometimes if you run out of corn and have to buy corn instead of growing it yourself. So it can really just vary depending on a lot of different things that are going on that year. So I don't have a good number for you either. So you stumped us.
I know he did. I just know we're very fortunate. We do grow all of our corn that we feed to our pigs and cows. So if that's one thing, we don't have to buy, and we're very lucky that way, I guess. So,
Yep.
but yeah, that was an awesome question.
All right, one last question. I know Eau Claire doesn't have the camera for us to see, but I see a question in chat here from a bit ago. I don't know if we touched on it, but lastly to round up, so how many pigs do you have that go to market each year?
We market about 25,000 pigs every year. So pigs that weigh like 280 pounds. Yep.
Okay. Well, in the consideration of time here, I think we're going to try to wrap things up. If there are more questions that we didn't get answered, teachers, feel free to send those in an email to me, and we can filter them through to Melissa to get some responses. I know some of you, I think, have other things you need to get to yet this morning, so I don't want to hold everyone up too long if they're not able to. So we had a lot of great questions, and I again want to thank you all for joining us today. I hope that you learned something new about pigs and how they're raised. And I think we all should just kind of end here. Let's say a big thank you to Melissa for taking time out of her day to show us the inside of the barn and to help answer all those great questions that you guys had. So thanks, Melissa, and thanks everyone for joining us today.